2 Grail watches, 6 custom-made watches, watch prices and some observations. These are our topics in this video, and now let's do it. Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim and I'm back at the desk after 3 weeks off. Beautiful 3 weeks off. I'm very happy with that result. I had a lot of time to think, to swim, to surf, to eat, to drink, and yes, something else. And first I'd like to talk to you about 2 of my Grail watches, because during my vacation I decided I want one of these watches in this year or 2023. So let's begin with a more common one. This is the already mentioned here on the channel, the Cartier Tank Americaine. I want a Cartier Tank Americaine, and I want the mid-size model in 18K, rose gold. Problem, retail price is 14,700 euros. Those are more than 15K US. And so this is out of the question, but it's such a nice watch. Delivers really the vintage vibe, or the vibe of a vintage car from the Art Deco era, and so I really like to have that watch. And I found it on Chrono24 used, 10 years old or 15 years old, for about 6,000 euros. Still a lot of money, but it's another league, I think. So this could be the way to go. And then I decided it would be a nice move to buy it during an auction. Excuse me, during an auction. Then you have to fight a bit for the watch. This would be very, very nice. And I've made a strange observation. Cartier states that the 15K model comes with mineral glass. What's that? Why do they produce a 15K watch with mineral glass? And some of the Cartier Tanks Americaine, on Chrono24, the statement there says sapphire. So I'm a bit puzzled. So dear Cartier aficionados, please help me out with that. Does Cartier use both materials, mineral and sapphire, or did they use mineral? Or I'm completely puzzled. So please help me out with that. So, but this could be, yeah, this is one of my Grail watches for 2022 or 2023. And I really like to manage it but the idea with an auction is nice, to hunt the watch down really. This would be very satisfying. Second Grail watch. This could have been my first vintage watch. Years ago, at the beginning of my watch journey, I found a listing, or I wanted to have a vintage watch from the 40s. And then I found a Minerva Tank NOS, new old stock, on eBay. And I was very excited because I don't have a photo of that particular watch. But I really like the clean look. It was a steel watch. I liked the logo, this Minerva. I mean, the name is just beautiful. The logo is beautiful. And the NOS aspect is extremely beautiful. And I went to my watchmaker here in Hamburg with the listing and showed him the watch and asked him if NOS means that he can just oil the watch and then it's like new. And he says, yes, definitely. When it's real NOS, then we have to renew a bit of the lubrification, and then you can wear it. And I thought, this is so interesting. But then he said, 400 euros for a Minerva, this is quite expensive. And I thought, oh, okay, I don't want to be the newbie who pays big money for overpriced watches. And so I didn't buy the watch. And today you could sell that watch for thousands, I think, or for 1,000 at least. But this is really now the plan, to track and hunt down a Minerva Tank NOS from the early 40s. And I think it will set me back, what is it, 1,000 to 2,000. And now people might say, this is not a Grail watch, this is way too cheap. Guys, I'm not collecting money here. I do not collect money. I collect style, heritage, history, and other values I find in watches. The money is absolutely unimportant, really, because it's not a problem to pay these 1,000 or 2,000. The problem is to find the bloody thing. So, but this is really a nice goal, I think. Minerva NOS Tank 1940s on Tim's wrist. This would be very nice. By the way, I'm sporting today, as every day right now, the Tudor two-tone. Tudor Prince two-tone with the numerals here. Very nice watch. Just love it. Okay, next topic, prices. I've mentioned prices here, and I've read an interesting article at the airport about the Swiss watch industry. I will share it with you. It's very brief. I will read it for you. The Swiss watch industry once again increased its sales in foreign markets in June. Although the important sales market China continued to weaken due to the COVID policy and lockdowns there, the development was more than compensated by other regions. According to figures released by the Federation of the Swiss Watch Industry and the Federal Office of blah blah blah, export growth in June was 8.1% year on year. Exports thus came to 2.13 billion Swiss francs, a lot of dough here. Exports of particularly expensive watches increased by around 8% in June compared to the same amount last year, it adds. However, inexpensive watches under 200 francs are particularly popular, with an increase of almost a quarter. Exports of watches between 200 and 500 francs, on the other hand, recorded a decline of around 30%. Very interesting numbers. First, they mean, what kind of crisis? Crisis? Do we have a crisis? I don't see a crisis. Do you see a crisis? No, I don't see a crisis. People buy watches, but I think it's a bit powered by inflation. People ask where to store their money, and a high-value Swiss watch might be a good vehicle for this purpose. And so it's a good time, I think, to buy high-end watches. On the other hand, this will drive the prices up, I'm afraid. But interesting now is, why do we see an increase of almost a quarter for watches under 200 francs? Swiss watches under 200 francs. Those are quartz models like Swatch. Why now? Is it marketing? Or are there 3 super popular models from the last year? I don't recall. Help me out with this, please. Why this massive increase in exports for cheap fashion watches? And our, let's say, entry-level Tissot between 200 and 500 francs has lost around 30%. So this is very strange, that the masses are focusing on cheap fashion and high-end, but the middle tier is somewhat underrepresented. Maybe the crisis is a phenomenon for middle-class buyers. This could be an explanation. But why these cheap watches? Help me with this, please. I'm really curious, and I'm really stuck, and I'd like to read your explanation, your guess in the comment section here. And now I have the pleasant duty to announce that the next watches from the 47.0 are closing in. I have this cooperation with the watchmaker Cormac Hanley from France, and a few months ago he sent me 3 modded Seiko watches with handmade dials, and we sold these watches here in, I think, 2 or 3 hours. And now I'm very excited that he did it again, and now we have not 3, we have 6 watches in the mail right now. And now Cormac went all out. He invested in new machinery so that the new dials are even more refined. You still see that it's handmade, but there are more possibilities for him with more machinery, and you will see this with these 6 watches. And he ordered Explorer-like cases, not from China, ordered them in Europe. Immensely expensive, I can tell you. I've seen the figures, but with sapphire crystal, watertight up to 100 meters, and really high quality in the build. And he ordered Swiss-made movements. So we have Swiss-made movements. So we have really a decent watch, decent packaging, and they are available next week, Friday, August 19th of August. So next week in the shop, casebackwatches.com, you will find these great 6 watches. And so I'm super excited to see these 6 watches, because Cormac is a guy with an idea every 90 minutes, and we have a Skype thread kilometers long, really, and so I have no idea what's coming there. He told me everything, but I'm Cormac, very sorry, but I'm a bit confused. I don't know what to expect, but I'm looking forward, and I'm looking forward to read the stories behind these designs, because he is not the guy that creates just a design like that. There's always a book behind it, or a historic figure, or an event from his own life, and so it's always very interesting. And he put all the watches on mesh bracelets, as you can see. Really nice choice for the summer. I love them. But I thought, oh, this is not for everybody. Not everybody loves mesh bracelets. And then I thought, Tim, shut up. We're not in the mass market here. And you can add a strap to every watch from your shop. And so I will make a nice bundle for you so that you can purchase one of these watches together with the strap, and the strap will then super affordable with a large discount. And the price, by the way, will be higher this time. There's no way around it, and I took some criticism the last time for my pricing last time, which was way too low, I think. Now we are at 600 euros, which I think is it's good compatible price if you see the components, the case, sapphire, Swiss-made movement, one-of-a-kind dial and such things. It's just a beautiful operation. I'm really looking forward to see those watches here. Okay, now we're done with the serious topics. Now we can speak a little bit about leisure time, about comic books. I've bought a lot of comic books actually at the airport and here in Germany. And my favorite nowadays is the biography of Edgar P. Jacobs, who was the right hand of Hergé, the famous Tintin Hergé. And later Edgar P. Jacobs made the famous Blake and Mortimer series. And this book here is available, I think, in all languages. You will not find an affiliate link. This is not an ad. This is just mentioning something from comic book fan to comic book fan. Dreams and Apocalypses is the title of this wonderful book. Big recommendation. And I made the next version of my... Oh, I'm rambling here, but I have to show you this. I made the next version of my own drawing kit. I've made the prototype, was very happy with it, used it for 3 weeks, and then these days I've made this beauty here in high-end quality. Hand-dyed leather, cow leather, and here with a cobra on the other side. And it's just beautiful. I think it has this Indiana Jones look, really. And it's so handy. You can use it like that, and then you have your drawing equipment in here. Just nice. I will make it available for the shop. 3 people will buy it because it will be very, very expensive because there's so much work in it and so much material. But I just don't want this thing in the shop. Then you have something to show. Not to show off, something to show, something beautiful. And now I really should stop here. Thank you very much for following me through all these topics. If you want to see updates here and there, then please follow me on Instagram, caseback_Tim. And now let me thank you again, and let's meet here next Friday with these watches from Cormac.